Hey guys, welcome back to B8N Tackle. I'm your host, Joe Frank, and today we are going to be doing something a little bit unique. We're going to be making a bait, and this is going to be using an existing mold that I have, and we're going to make something pretty interesting. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen this before, but it is a company called Bass Puzzle, and it's a bait called a grass piece, and it's from Japan, I believe. But a very, very unique bait. It actually is kind of a spinner bait slash chatter bait, except the chatter bait runs on top, just like that. And it's got a little bit of an edge. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but if I can flip it towards you there, see a little bit of an edge on that blade right there? That's what catches the water and makes this thing do some crazy stuff. Now, when I've actually thrown this a few times, and when it swims, it keeps the bottom, the jig head, even keel, but the blade causes the bait to go like this, side to side. So the blade just twists the bait side to side, but that jig head stays perfectly straight, and it just keeps going like that. It's just so it's pivoting down here on this head. But a very, very unique bait. Look it up. They do have some swim videos and stuff like that. And the company, the company there, Bass Puzzle, they have a whole bunch of these, and they're very tough to find because I guess a lot of people are buying these things. But the one thing that I was wondering is, I wonder if we could make these ourselves instead of, you know, trying to find these things, because these are so hard to find. Now, obviously, they come from Japan, so I'm sure there's some people here in the States that have them outsourced. I got this one off of eBay, and I think I ended up paying with shipping like $50. So it's kind of crazy to pay that much for one of these baits, especially when like you can get a chatterbait, like a really high-end chatterbait here for like 20 bucks or something like that. So a little bit unique. They also have a new version out with a different blade that doesn't have that little bend in it, but it has like the blade itself is bent in the middle, so it's like just, you know, offset just a little bit, so it's a little bit unique. And I can't remember what that one was called, the Flex, I think. I've got one of those on order so we can take a look at it at some point, but I wanted to show you this bait. I mean, it's a superb bait, and the idea is that this blade and this back and forth action actually keeps you from getting in the grass, hence the name of the bait, grass piece, right? So it kind of hovers, goes right through the grass. And then I think they sell a thing that covers the front tip there to make it even better, so when you're pulling through grass and stuff like that, it glides through very nicely. So this is the bait that we're going to attempt to make. Now, I have made one already, and I have tried it, and it actually works pretty damn good. So we're gonna go ahead, and I'm going to show you what I did to make this bait. It's very cool. One thing I also wanted to mention, guys, is swag for like for B8N Tackle. I have a Sticker Mule store now, and I will link the link below in the video description, and you guys can go check it out. Like a lot of shirts, like I have shirts on all the different baits I've made, the Big-Eyed Fathead, the Big-Eyed Fathead Junior, the Tombstone Kicker. All those our shirts are available. I think I'm charging like 25 bucks, and Sticker Mule does it them, so they print them and they ship them directly to you, so I don't have to be involved at all. I get a very, very small percentage of a cut for me. So it's like, you know, a couple bucks per shirt or something like that, so it's not even really that much. But if you guys want shirts, go check it out. I'd like to do hats at some point, but I'm not sure if they'll ever do that, so I may do that on my own, but we'll see. But I wanted to let you guys know that there is some merch available. You can go get shirts from Sticker Mule, and very good quality. Remember that, like, size-wise, like, I used to wear an extra large, but now I think I'm more comfortable in like 2X, so it's a little bit bigger, and just in case it shrinks, kind of thing. So just be wary of that. Check out their size guide at Sticker Mule and everything like that. But let's get on with the video. I'm going to bring you down to the bench so we can check out how we made this bait, and I'm going to show you. I've got some that are pre-made, ready to go, and I kind of wanted to step through the blades. All right, so let's step through this a little bit and let me show you what I've got. So the first thing I've got here is one of my Do-It molds, and I use the Ultra Spinner jig. This is the one that's 1/4 to 3/8. Now, the standard size that these blades, that these actual grass piece lures come in, I believe, I want to say I want to say it comes in a quarter, half ounce, and a 3/4 ounce or something like that. There's only a couple sizes, so you really could do whatever you wanted to if you really wanted to do different. Oh, and by the way, this is the one with the mini blade. I bought the one with the mini blade, so that's a small blade. There's actually one that they sell, it's got a bigger blade on it. So just for an example, this is what we made right here. This is with a big blade on it, and what I ended up doing was I mimicked what they did, except on mine, I used, number one, a bigger blade, and I messed up on one of the drill holes. This is kind of just a experimental one that I was running. But jig head wise, these are very similar. You know, the Ultra Spinner jig, I can put a skirt on this if I really wanted to, you know, that kind of thing. And then this one just has the bigger blade on it. But really what we're trying to do is match the bending of that wire is really the important part, and putting that blade on there so it doesn't fall off. So again, there's two different sizes. We can use a mini blade or we can use a bigger blade. So I made both. And the interesting thing is you have to drill a hole through these blades. So if you get these dancer jig blades or chatter blades, whatever you want to call them, you know, everybody calls them something different, and everybody's got a different version of these, because I know Z-Man is all out there trying to get everybody about these, about making them yourself or producing, you know, mass production is really what they're worried about. They don't want anybody selling their trademark. So the interesting thing is here, you could take any one of these blades, and it has the original two holes for the chatter right there in the bottom. And then what I did was drilled that top hole right there so we could connect in the middle, because we need to connect this blade in the middle, not down here. It's not going to run right. So we need it up in the middle. So I had to drill a hole. You got to make sure you get like a nice carbide bit to drill through this steel, because this steel is very hard to drill through. If you use a very dull blade or you know, a very dull drill bit, you're not going to get through that all the way. So make sure you get a good drill bit to drill through these. Carbide bit, whatever, something high end, okay? And the other thing you got to do is you got to make that bend in the blade. So all I did was just took it, put this blade in a vise, and just bent a little tiny bit, like I'm talking like 1/8 of an inch, you know what I'm saying? Real small amount, and just bend it. And you can see I did the same thing on the small ones too. All I did was made that drill bit. See, that's your normal blade right there, is your normal holes in the bottom. I drilled my hole up top in the middle, and then I made that little bend at the bottom. That's all you do. And that bend faces up. Like if you're looking at the bait, how I did it, if you're looking at the bait like this, sideways, you see how that bend is right there? It's on the back facing up. So it depends on, and so how this rolls is like that, okay? So it's catching the water and making it run. But for some reason, I don't know how this is designed. What those guys in Japan are phenomenal experts at engineering, did a great job. But the way that this bait rolls, that's how it has to run. Okay, so it kind of lays like that. It's very interesting. Then I put like some blood spot patterns on here with like I think I used my little powder paint spray gun just to try that, something different. So again, so we use the Ultra Spinner Jig mold. This one's the SJU-3 SA. It's a smaller version. It's a 1/4, 3/8, half ounce. I can't remember what size I made, but you can literally, you can take this mold and you just do the normal thing, except the only difference you're going to make in that, these are all half ounce, by the way. The only difference that you're going to do here is you're going to take the wire form. That's the original wire form that comes with these, and I can't remember if it's there's two different types of wire. There's a 0.040 wire, or I think there's a smaller wire too, but I'm pretty sure this is the 0.040 wire that I used. So you get these when you buy them. You can buy the wire forms, you know, Barlow's is where I buy all my stuff, but get these at Barlow's. This is just the standard wire form that goes with the spinner mold. And all you got to do is just shorten it up. So what I did was I took and cut my wire, and this is the wire form I'm using. I just took and cut my wire and just shortened it up and just put another little loop on there. See it? So I just shortened it from here back to here, and then put that in there and put the hook in there, and just, so all it does is just makes it shorter in the cavity. So if you just look in this cavity, I'll just give you a quick example of how this is going to roll. If you look in the cavity, these are going to stay the same. It's just the wire that sticks out is going to be lower to the mold. That's it. Okay, so it's just going to be the same thing, except if you notice on the top, this one was sticking way the heck up. Okay, like that. See, like that? That's the only difference. So it's just going to be lower to the mold. That's the only difference. So it's a little tough to get your nozzle in there to pour the lead, but you can do it. Trust me, I've already done it multiple times. So that's the important thing here, is to shorten up the wire form. So I went ahead and pre-made a whole bunch of these, and we're going to go ahead and bend them. Okay, so I made a whole bunch. I already have the wire forms, everything, the hooks already painted, already have eyes, all that good stuff. Okay, and this is all that double, I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up real quick and get you a name. Okay, it's the Nova Stone Double Dazzle paint. Okay, and like, just to give you an example, this is black and chartreuse. Okay, it's just black and chartreuse, ton of glitter in there, and then you do a clear coat over top. But awesome paints. Those are at Barlow's, by the way. And I have a code there. I will put a link. It's linked in the bottom of the video description. It is B8N Tackle, all one word, all capitalized. So what we're going to do here is we're going to match the hatch for the bends. Okay, and what we do is really all we really got to do is use a pair of these needle nose round benders. Okay, it's got one is a round tube, different sizes that goes up. The bottom is where it lays into and gives you that round nose. So if you look at the end of the plier, see it? That's what you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to bend this to match. Okay, to match this other one we did. So I think I might have gone a little bit too far forward there, but this is all we're going to do. We're just going to sit here and we're going to bend these wires. And yep, I went a little bit too far. So I'm just going to go ahead and bend that back a little bit. Okay. But all we're going to do is match the hatch here. So we got another bend right about there. And it's really tough to do this on camera, guys, but I just want to show you. So if you get one of these, you can match the bends, but I'll put some sizes on here just so you guys can get a comparison of what's going on here. And that's pretty good right there. See it? So it doesn't have to be exact, but it's got to be very close. Okay. And then you come back and there's another bend back here. And forgive me because I'm going to be doing this kind of off camera and on camera and all sorts of stuff here. Okay, and the idea here is you want to keep all this in line with the hook too. So just make sure that when you're looking like that, you're dead on with the hook. Okay, so it's straight all the way through. Okay, so we got that so far. All right, and that's about probably what we want. Yep, we need to actually bend it down just a little bit more. So I'm going to take it down just a little bit more. And again, just a little bit at a time. This is one of those things that's very, very unique. And actually, I've got to bend this one down just a little bit more. Okay. And I think we're pretty darn close here. So, and once you get one made, you can just, again, it's just like a carbon copy thing. So I may have made that one a little bit too long. Actually, no, that's pretty good right there. So if you just look at what I've got there lined up, that's not bad. Okay. And then you've got to actually make your round part to put the actual, bait on. And that is the toughest part, is putting that on. So once you've got that put together here, you're gonna have to cut that wire, number one. But what I did was I just bend it so then that way it's about the same as where it needs to be. So now what I'm gonna do is make like a little loop, but we gotta leave the loop open. That's the problem right now. So I need to get a pair of cutters here, and I'm gonna cut it a little bit longer because again, we gotta make a big loop right there, okay? We gotta make a big loop right there to put our blade into. And this one I'm gonna make a mini, okay? And the way it's gotta go in is it's gotta go through the top hole. It's gotta go through the top hole and back through the other small hole. So, and this one is gonna have to be a small one because of the size of this blade, because how small it is. So this is the hardest part about doing these, is getting that loop big enough to go through there and be able to run that bait. You know what I'm saying? So it's very difficult, and I'm gonna actually try my best here to round that thing out. See what I just did there? Rounded it out. So then that way I can get like that. So I can get it so that the blade goes through both. See that? And then it's as easy as trying to just tighten this down. So either some pliers, some little pliers, which I've got right here, and I'm just going to bend that other wire to try to touch the top wire. And I didn't want to do it too much, but I think that's it right there. So the blade's not going to fall off at this point. So it's basically a circle. See it? Tough to see there with that blade there. But you just bend it around that blade. So that blade's just going to rock back there and just, okay? And that's what we want. That's exactly what we want. So the blade is going to roll like that, and it's going to go side to side. Now this is the mini mag, the mini blade. I'm going to do the mini blade. I call it mini mag. That's funny. The mini blade. So we're gonna rock that one just like that, and that's good enough right there. That little bit of openness there in the hook, in the wire, that's fine. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not coming off. It's not going to slip off. I mean, if I move this, it only goes so far. So that's pretty much it. And then you can put a skirt on there if you're choosing. And I think what I'm going to do is, you guys have seen me do skirts before. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these down and make these all the same wire form first. And then I'll come back and I'll show you what I've got, and I'll put some skirts on these too. And I might do some like montage video here of like, of me like bending and putting all this stuff together.
Perfect.
All right, so I've got all my wire forms bent, I should say, not bended. And what I'm going to do now is put the blades on, but I wanted to kind of just show you guys again, just this process. And I'm going to actually use one of the big blades again on one of these. I think I'm going to make one more big bladed one, and then I'm going to do the rest small. So I think I'm going to do probably this orange chartreuse. That's probably a good one to do. So again, this needs to go through the wire form like that, and then that wire is going to go through that top hole. So again, it's got to set in the middle, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and, I got the blade on, but I'm going to go ahead and the front part of the blade, I'm going to go ahead and start bending this wire to get it where I need to get it. So just make a part of a loop, and then there you go right there. See it? Went right through perfectly. So now you go ahead and put that on like that, and then you take some pliers and just smoosh her together so it's not too tight. So you want that to wiggle. You want that to be able to do what you want it to do, okay? So that's another big blade right there. And if we look at it, that's probably, yep, it's almost exactly the way. This one's probably going to get hung up a lot because I drilled 2 holes and it got messed up on me. So, but again, this one, perfectly, I got a perfectly round centered hole. And you may want to use a center punch to actually, when you're cutting those holes in those blades, you want to use something like this. It's called a center punch. So when you take the blade and you put it on the blade and you push down, it's got a spring that pokes a hole there. Then that way, when you drill your hole, it'll stay, that drill bit will stay centered right on there. It's like a nice little, I use these all the time for work. We just, you know, pop it on metal, you pop this in, and it's got a little spring in it. So it makes a real hard dent in the metal. Then that way it gives you a nice little spot for the drill bit to go into. So again, so that's how you do it. You get it in there like that. But I wanted to show you again how we did that. And I'm going to do another one right now. This is the black chartreuse. I'm going to go ahead and do the mini blade on these. So I'm going to go ahead and pick another one. And this one I haven't bent the top part yet to where I need to do my bend. So I'm just going to use another one just to get a guesstimate on where I need to start bending. And I need to start bending probably around there. So I'm just going to put a little bend there. And then I'm going to go ahead and do my bigger roll for this. And you got to try to keep the wire straight if you can. And I kind of messed up by not keeping that straight, but you can straighten it right out. This wire bends pretty easy, okay? You just want to make sure that it's right in line. Everything is straight line, in line with each other. Okay, so I got my bend there. I'm going to go ahead and put my blade through. And then I'm going to make my bend again. Okay. This is a little bit smaller of a blade, but the holes are a little bit closer together, but not too much. So, okay, so I got it in there. Push it through. I'm going to show you on the side here. So you got it. I got it there. The top hole that's already pre-existing, push it right through just like that. Lean it forward, and then go ahead and get your pliers and just do that. Now again, this is not perfect, but this will work. And again, this is for people to make their own. This is not to make and mass produce or distribute. This is just a video on how to do these, and that way you guys can run your own without having to spend a fortune on buying these things from Japan or whatever, or finding them on eBay like I have in the past. So there's another small one. So I'm going to go ahead and put these other 2 blades on these last 2 here, and I'm going to do the mini blades. And again, you guys can watch a little montage video of me doing that real quick, and then I'll probably do some skirts too and throw them on here just to see what they look like. All right, guys, I've got my colors laid out. I want to use my little skirt making tool here. I love this thing. And I don't know if you can find it anymore. I think the last time I looked, I could not find it. So you have to use a different type of skirt tool if, else you can find one of these on eBay. I'm not sure if they even sell them anymore, but they're just a pair of pliers with a little end bent down. So then that way you can just put the rubber gasket on there. And I use rubber gaskets, not collars. And you can just go ahead and stretch it apart and put your skirt through the thing, and away you go. So let's do this orange one first. Okay, this is orange chartreuse. Let me show you that color. I picked out a couple of different skirt materials for this one. Again, most of these skirts you can get on Barlow's. That's where I buy all my skirt material from. I have got some stuff from the past in different companies, but Barlow's is the one I primarily work with now. And you want to layer these the way you want them on the bait. Okay, so I'm going to do chartreuse and orange next to each other. So 2 chartreuse, 2 orange. I like to use 4 strips of the material because I think it just gives it a fuller skirt, and I really enjoy having a fuller skirt. And all you got to do is trim the ends off. So again, get it to where you want it. Cut them off. There's your skirt. Now, the one thing I like to do before I put my skirt on, there's your skirt right here, is I like to roll my gasket down so that it's a little bit less on one end and more on the other. So when we go to put this in there, you'll see the skirt material, see how it drops, and it almost makes it even with the other side. So there's a long side and a short side. And what we want to do is tilt it so that the short side is down, long side drapes over top, and then you go ahead and stick your hook through the middle. Now, if you are using the gaskets like I do, and I want to run the chartreuse more down, so I'm just going to put the chartreuse more down. But if you want to run these rubber gaskets, the only thing I can tell you is that if you are trying to skip these skirts on jigs and whatnot, you need to glue them in place. Then that way they won't move. But here is a full skirted grass piece jig, I guess you want to call these, or they're really jigs, technically speaking, like a chatter spinner bait combo. So here it is completed, and that's with a big blade. Okay, so again, there's 2 different types of big blade and mini blade. The mini blades give you a little bit less action, a little bit more finessey, and the bigger blades give you a bigger swing. So pretty awesome. They come out great. I will take some pictures of these at the end, and I'll also lay down like a ruler so you can see the size and that kind of thing. And I'll also put some measurements of like this, just around some of this stuff, so then that way you get to see a little bit closer where those bends are. Okay, and feel free to pause it, you know, take pictures, whatever. Then that way you get something to adjust it to. So there's one. Let's go ahead and do another one. Let's do the purple with the mini mag. I keep calling it mini mag, just a mini blade is what it is. So I'm going to use this purple, almost like a June bug color, but I'm going to put 1 strand of black on the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and put my gasket on here, and we're going to go ahead and make this skirt up. And again, pull it to the middle, take it off. You know, make sure you move your gasket a few times. If you got a couple that are bunched up, which sometimes it happens, then I'm going to go ahead and cut the ends off. I'm going to do that off camera just because these things make a complete and utter chaos mess. Okay, there you go. And I've actually already got it, looks like I've already got it down to where one side is a little bit longer than the other kind of thing, right? So again, same thing. You hold it with the short end down, let it drape, and then put your hook through, right through the middle, okay? And then roll it up. And when you roll it up, it'll tend to move it up a little bit too. So, but again, you can put it on there and trim up your skirt if you want to. You might have some stragglers you got to pull down a little bit more, or whatever have you. But there you go, guys. That's the purple one with nice little mini blade there. So that's going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous bait. So again, we got blue, we got a green, a black. So let me go through these, make these up real quick. We'll do just a little montage again, and we'll come back after I get them all put together. All right, guys. So I just wanted to show you real quick everything that we used in this video to make these. So again, Ultra Spinner jig mold, okay? And remember, you got to make sure that you got to shorten up your wire form to that, okay? On the one end, that's it. And again, I'm going to take some pictures of these with a ruler so you can see what I'm talking about. And then also don't forget that with your dancer blades, what you need to do, you need to drill your holes in the center above, so then that way that rides in the center. And don't forget to probably pick up one of these on Amazon. I can probably actually link this below, so then that way you know what this is, but it's a center punch. So when you push that in, on that metal, it's going to make a nice little divot for you to drill better. You're also going to need a drill bit, and I can't remember what size I use. Just use your best judgment. It can match the one that's there on the blade, or you can go a little bit bigger, okay? And then also don't forget to do your little 1/8 bend on the bottom of the blade, okay? Do not forget that. That is very important for making these ones. Now we may get into the next one where it's going to be I think it's called the flex, and I'm not sure how we're going to make those yet, but we will get into that at some point, and I'll show you how to do those. But again, you want some good scissors to cut your silicone skirt strips. You want to make sure you got those. You also want to make sure you got a good pair of pliers. I use these KastKing pliers. These are really good to use just to bend things. They're actually called split ring pliers because they have the little tip on the bottom, so you can do split rings with these. Very crucial. I cut wire with them. I do everything with these. So these pliers are great in my shop. Then you also need the round nose pliers. And again, I think I'm going to link all these pliers and scissors and everything below. Then that way you guys know what to get. But those tools right here are great. But again, so we went ahead and made our version of the bass puzzle grass piece. Okay, that's the original right there. Okay, that's how it works, and that's got the mini blade on it because I couldn't find the big blade. Again, they're very hard to find. So here's the black chartreuse, and these hooks are sharp, man. Here's the black chartreuse. I'm just trying to lay down this skirt a little bit because I think I made it a little bit too short there. But here's the black chartreuse with the mini blade. Okay, so same idea. You guys get it. This is what we're making, okay? And I went ahead and made a whole bunch of other colors. We made a green chartreuse, and I kind of copied the tail a little bit on that last one, but not really. This one's got a little bit more green and a little bit more natural colors, okay? Again, mini blade, not the big blade. Okay, and then we also got a black and blue, always very popular. Black and blue always does very well around wood. Most people know that. But again, same thing, small blade, mini blade. Okay, and these are all 1/2 ounce jigs. You can make whatever size you want. It doesn't really matter. Now, personally, it's just going to matter on what your preference is, right? Do you want lighter stuff? You fish in a shallower water? Do you want the mini mag where it's a little bit more finesse? The mini blade, not the mini mag. The mini blade that, gives it a little bit more finesse-y, approach to it. Gives it a little bit of a jiggle, not the big jiggle like with the bigger blades. So you could do that too. It's really all on preference. So you want weight preference and you want your blade size preference. This is one that I made before, black and red. I went ahead and just, colored some things on the blade and then, put a nice little skirt on that black and red. So that one obviously is mine. It's got a mess up on the blade. Then the other big one that we did is an orange one, orange and chartreuse, and that one has a big blade on it. So just as an example. And again, I'm going to take pictures of these at the end of the video. You guys can see all this, and I'll have some size references and that kind of thing so you understand how to make these the way you want to make them. So let me get you rolled around here and we'll talk a little bit more about it, and then we'll go ahead and get you some pictures. All right, guys, so let's just recap real quick. So again, we were making these bass puzzle grass piece jigs, and they're basically a combination of a spinner bait and a chatterbait. you use a chatter blade or a dancer jig or whatever you call it, you want to get some of those blades. You also want to get the Ultra Spinner Jig Mold, okay, and pour yourself a couple of those. Again, whatever size you prefer. Could be a quarter, this one's quarter, 3 ounce, half ounce. I'm pretty sure they make another one that's bigger. I also have that too, but I did not do any of those because I'm probably gonna end up using these for bass. I like to run a little bit smaller, and I do run some shallow water. So, and the other big thing too was you get the big blades or you want the mini blades. Mini blades are a little bit more finessey. They don't, you know, they move a little bit as opposed to with the bigger blades where they go a little bit wider, okay? That is completely up to you. That's your preference. And again, these are for you to make. These are not for distribution. I've said it a few times. I just want to make sure that that's clear. I haven't seen anybody else make this video yet. And when this comes out, hopefully nobody else has, but I want to just clarify that. So then that way everybody has a path forward. These are to make for yourself. Then that way you can make them and you can get them without having to spend a fortune on finding them on like on eBay, 50 bucks pop. Again, that's how much I paid for that one that I have here, this actual mini blade one. So they're very pricey if you can find them, and that's the tough part, is if you can find them. So I encourage you, all you bait makers out there, make them yourself. You can make about anything yourself. So again, I do have the Sticker Mule shop. It's on now, it's live. You can go ahead and pick up any of my shirts. I've got my Bait and Tackle logo shirts. Again, I've got the Bait and Season shirts, that sticker. I've also got the baits, the Big-Eyed Fathead. I've got the Tombstone Kicker and the Big-Eyed Fathead Junior. That's a pretty cool design. So go check those out. If you want one, pick up a shirt. Again, I'm trying to keep the cost down as much as I can. Great quality shirts. Just make sure you check the sizing. And none of that stuff goes through me. It's all through Sticker Mule. So I'm not involved with it at all. I just get a percentage off the top. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got a more clear understanding about what these do and how to make them. Maybe I will do some kind of a swim video if I can, just to show you these, but there is some videos on YouTube that actually have these and how they actually perform and how they swim. So go check those out. But thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, remember to keep on baiting.